It is the 16th of Cloudscatter and the let me start over. It is the 16th of Cloudscatter and the 73rd year of the Green Age. Let's see. Tulu heard a voice in Draconic. The Tiefling. There were Templars. And they don't actually believe in anything they do. They just like money. So really, they're mercenaries. And that's fine. I don't judge a man for how they make a living, but they guided us through a series of tests. And within the first test, I discovered that all of the crew had completely ignored the accords under which we had sailed under several weeks ago. And as the accords require that I kill them all, I instead decided that perhaps we would part ways when we saw this through to the end. The Tiefling, with the bow, claimed that she's met a lot of fair harbors, including Wynn, who's my grandmother and one of the most famous and renowned sailors in the Isles. And she's been long dead, and it makes no sense. Takes hourglass. And then we were attacked by a bunch of basically Bjornings from Lord of the Rings. But they didn't have ranged weapons, so they died, and the rest of them ran off. Let's see. Hunters. The other guy's name was Ken. We made it through that trial. The hourglass ran in reverse, and then there was quicksand. And I nearly drowned. So did Floki. But we made it through in the end. And made it to a crypt where there was a mouth-breathing dog named Clyde. And he was of absolutely no help. But we...
He did show us where Rondah was.
I'm pretty sure we could have found her.
Yeah, but he made it a little bit faster. Give Clyde credit where credit is due.
I want to try to give Clyde as much credit as I can. I feel like he needs it. Another creature was really unfortunately named Jizzle, and he knows how to play a card game or something, and Tulu's doing that with him now. But we ran into Rondah Kettlefinger, who we've been looking for now for the past week or so. It seems she's cursed. Now here we are, right in front of her.
Yep. So where we left off, Quiroki stepped up to shake her hand. She promptly shakes your hand. She looks over your shoulder, though, Quiroki, and looks at Feghrin and says, "Are you really from the north?"
I myself am from, oh crap, it's been so long. Malasar? Holy crap. I have it here. Malasar, yes.
They say that Wynn was from the north.
Yes. I've heard of her. What the hell. I don't expect you to believe it, but she was my grandmother.
Oh, well, you're right. I don't believe you. But I didn't also believe that anything was from the north. Thought that was just part of the tale.
You've never seen anyone else come from the northern seas?
No. Well, there's nothing else out there. I've sailed out there for, years.
What did you find?
Nothing but shallow rocks and sea monsters.
How long did we sail south? Like, how many days was it we sailed south?
Like maybe between like 13 and 30. Like, not very much.
Oh, okay.
Feghrin looks at everybody else, looks at Floki, and is like, "Gods, what has happened?"
Well, I don't know, but I'm still confused at how you guys made it here. How'd you get past the river?
That's a long and painful story.
Yeah.
Out of character. Are we talking about the one the snake came out of?
Yeah, the Snake
Correct.
River.
Yes.
Oh.
We passed a
We wrestled a 50-foot long by 10-foot wide snake, and then it decided to let us go, and we did some trials and things, and that's how we made it.
You mean you fought that thing
Aye,
and you came out alive?
we did.
I don't think I'm dead yet.
It wasn't that dangerous. It's just a snake. The keys just, they're only really dangerous at the mouth. Once you can lock that down, the rest of it's all just, comes naturally.
Aye, and it had that hook. It ought to get that looked at.
She looks at you, Floki, and she goes, "Man, you look just like him." And she looks down at the amulet that you gave her, and she goes, Mohide probably gave you this because you look like someone that we used to know.
He did mention that. I'd like to say there's an interesting story there, but to be honest, I think it's just kind of a coincidence.
Did you happen to put it on?
Amulet? I don't think so, no. I've just sort of had it on my person.
She throws it back to you, and she says, "You might want to give it a shot before you give that up."
All right.
It's
I'll
one of his favorite.
put it around my neck.
All right. When you do, the large ship that is behind her begins to glow, and you can see in between the planks where it's usually been sealed with tar and stuff. There's light just glowing out of them, as if the ship is illuminated from the inside. But you watch as the longer you look at it, the more you see in between the grains, this light begins to emit from it. All the way up the masts and across the sails, it just begins to emit this faint light. There's a shimmery between a blue and a violet in color. And she goes, "Yeah, he said it's hard to explain, but he said that you could see the spirit of the ship, and it helped him know the good ones from the bad ones."
Did bad ones have a green spirit by chance?
I don't know. I can't see it myself. When I wear it, nothing happens. Is there anything for you? She says.
Yeah, your chip is glowing. Yeah, it's kind of like a sort of a bluish kind of purple. That doesn't mean anything to me, but it wasn't doing that before.
And she turns around, puts her hands on her hips, and just kind of pops a knee out and looks at it, and just kind of scratches her head, and she's like, "Man, I was hoping he was just crazy, but maybe there is something to it." And she turns.
Speaking of that, you mentioned something about a curse.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I told you that, but if you heard that from Tim or anyone else, then you're probably right. Old Barry here, she's got a pretty nasty curse. You could call it a sickness, rather. It's kind of one of the reasons I'm here. I heard tales of this creature here that could fix it for me. Kind of just looks at her ship in a distance and kind of absent-mindedly, and eventually she turns back around. She's like, "But back to you guys. Why are you? What brings you here? You're here for me, but why? What good am I to you?"
If I could impose, I have a peculiar feeling that we have a lot of storytelling to do. I think we have some stories that you might want to hear, and I suspect you have some stories that we might want to hear. Is there a place we could kind of sit down and chat about this? And who knows, maybe I could help you out with your curse problem. I don't know if you were aware, but I'm something of a curse expert myself. I'm sure I could find a way to help you
She kind of
if I
chuckles
knew
and she says,
the story.
"Well, aren't all sailors curse experts?" She turns around, and starts walking towards the ship, and she kind of like gives you all the signal to follow her. And she walks back towards her ship, which is just behind her. You can see it sitting in this chamber, which is several hundred feet in both diameter, but also in height. And the top of it is actually like sunken open, like so. There's like you can actually see the moon and the starlight kind of creeping down as it's like about 1 a.m.
Can you?
She walks up.
Oh, sorry. Can you
Go ahead.
put on Feghrin all players?
Oh.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, there it is.
Thanks. Yep. But as you kind of approach, she grabs a rope and starts tucking her way up. She goes, "Climb aboard." And she walks over to the hatch and opens up the hatch and begins to like shuffle her way down below deck. You can see once you get inside that there's like not a lot going on. Most of like where you would keep ropes and materials and stuff is all like emptied out. Like it's as if like she's low on rations and supplies is basically what it seems like. And you can actually see once you get inside that there are like several different repairs that have been made just to keep her running. Some of them are done kind of poorly, and other of them are done pretty well with the materials that she's had access to. But you can tell that she's had a pretty low crew for a while from the looks of it. But also, once you kind of approach the ship, you also realize that in this chamber, this is like a ship in a bottle kind of situation. Like she got the ship in here, and there's like no other access point, unless it fell from the ceiling. Which you would know that if it fell from that height, it probably would have absolutely destroyed the keel and like ruin the ship and make it no longer sailable. But also, you're in here now, so how are you gonna get down? Kind of thing.
The ship have apparent damage on the exterior, or did it appear like it didn't fall from the sky?
You can give me intelligence. I mean, sorry, not intelligence. An insight or investigation check.
Probably got none of those. Yep. I don't suppose that I could add a proficiency to that because of my carpenter's tools.
Um,
What was the
Proficiency.
question again?
I tell you what. I'll just lower the DC.
All right. Let's investigate. Hey, look at that. Numbers. Did that do the thing? It did. Look at that. A 20. Fancy me.
Okay. With a 20, what you will know is, first of all, you can see like lots of different stains from the outside, from where it's been ripped through the soil. So there's like some scratches and scuffs through that. But you also notice as you look at it that there's a blue paint on the outside, which is very similar to what the Twilight's Revenge has, which you would know as Riffle Bliss, which is like our shark repellent. And as you kind of look at it, you notice that there was actually surprisingly very little damage from having sailed across land. You would know that the ship's only able to do that by being glass, but you really don't know what all being glass entails. But you would assume by looking at the ship that it actually also makes it more resilient. But it's difficult to tell just how bad the damage is without actually like lifting the ship up and looking underneath, or going below deck to the bottom deck and looking below the bilge.
All right.
But with a 20, yeah, you notice that it's surprisingly little damage. She gets inside and brings you all to this long table, which is like anchored down. And she opens up a cabinet, pulls out a bottle that's got like maybe like 2 shots left in it. And she's like, well, let's do this right. And she sits down at the table and opens up the bottle. And she goes, I should probably get Chisel to bring us something. I don't have any other cups or anything. So she like gets up and starts looking around for cups. While she's doing that, what's Quiroki doing?
He's kind of standing back and observing. Just not. He's like looking at the ship, inspecting. Making note of stuff, but like he's not actively, I guess, doing anything.
Okay. What's Feghrin doing?
I think he is going down in. I mean, if he's invited on the ship, he runs his hand along God, what's it called? The part of the midship where there's like a railing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the inside hull and he goes down into the lower deck, and I'd like to try to use Eye of Telling Tides to figure out everything I can about where the ship has been and who the people are and what they've done.
All right, go ahead and give me a perception check with that.
What? Huh. What is it? Oh, at advantage. I was confused. Okay. Okay, well that really helped. I got a 21.
All right, with the 21, as you look over the ship, a few things you notice are the way the ropes are tied off. It is if like this person has been managing to sail a ship very cleverly with very little manpower. You can sail like where most of the sheets and stuff are tied off to different things. These are like different anchor points throughout the ship has been like using leverage in ways that are
like
actually really
that no one would actually do it, but that's been but it's been like jury rigged in ways to where where someone could do that.
You notice the sails have a tinge to them that you would know after seeing it on one instance before. You've seen it from the ship of the Naked Logger after Klaus and Calhawk said they experienced acid rain. There are these like streaks of where the fabric itself has been like eroded away, and just like these lots of different corrosion and erosion that like is super unnatural and super chemically aggressive. As you look over, there's like these little indentions that you can't explain it otherwise without being like some corrosive material. And it's all over the ship from the outside to the upside to everywhere else.
Is Rondah nearby? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, yeah, I was saying you can see this from above deck. So like as you go below deck, a few of the things you notice are it's completely low stocked. That's the only thing you notice from the inside. But yeah, Rondah's below deck. So once you go down there, you'll know that.
Is there any kind of residue or anything that would indicate that has happened to the ship, to the sails or anything?
Just like Floki, you notice there's lots of like soil and mud that's been like caked on the outside of the ship. But other than that, and the paint, there's not really much else to tell from on the outside of the ship.
I take a handkerchief and I like wipe some of that stuff off, just the mud and grime and things, and I go down to where Rondah is and I say, I see that you've seen it too. Perhaps you can see now the truth that we're from the northern seas. We don't call it the northern seas there. We called it the southern seas. The world is ending. You've seen it. And I point to the masts, or to the sails, and show her the handkerchief.
About Barry? I mean, like I said, I've sailed to the north. Yeah, I never found anything there.
There used to be a lot there.
She says, if you say so. And you can see that she's been collecting what she considers like cupware. She's got like this little frying pan, a like small little vial looking thing, a little tin cup that's probably gonna hold an ounce in it. And she's like, Yep, that 1, 2, 3. I guess I'll just drink out the bottle once you. And she like pours you each like maybe a half an ounce and sits down, and she says, "Yeah, I mean, Barry's seen a lot. We took her a little, as far as Lambu and back, but you know, I grew up here. Next gave me Barry a few years ago, and it's been a pretty good team, me and her." And she like pets the table as if she's like petting the ship. But yeah, you say the world's ending? Call me a skeptic, but if only. She chuckles to herself.
You'd like that, would you? That world to end.
Well, once I realized that Nex was feeding the Federation, couldn't work for him anymore. I can't sit by and help him manufacture an army. You know, people treat life as if it's this priceless thing to hold on to, but once Salem died, I realized that life is relentless suffering, and death, well, death is peace. No enemy can hurt you any longer. You no longer have to starve. No storm or disease can afflict you. You no longer have to strive for respect or affection. It's simply bliss. You can call me insane, you can call me perverse, but I know what death really is. It's what I long for now. And it's what I've wanted for a long time. But of course, I can't just up and die until I'm certain that Barry and her crew are safe from Nex. So I ran.
And you know what's beyond death, this bliss. You've seen that, have you?
Well, I've learned a lot about Dothmere. I found this sanctuary, and I learned that the candles extend beyond existence, if you believe it, and that there are ways to make life and death just as temporary as the other. And every member of my crew could choose which side of that fence they wanted to be on. And if we're careful, you know, I could maybe straddle that line. But then Barry here got sick, and that kind of plows through the fence that I'm trying to decide about. So I spent the coin I had on getting us through that river. That's my story. So what brings you here? And she looks at you, Floki.
Muted myself. I was going to ask if there was a hammock in this space.
You don't see one nearby, but you guys are like in what you consider the mess hall. You would imagine that
All right.
there is like a sleeping area. It's probably either in the forecast or the aft.
Well, mildly disappointed, but anywho, I would like to attempt to start short resting.
Okay. I think we can all agree to do a short rest if that's what you guys want to do.
But
I mean, it is like 1 a.m, so if you guys wanted to take a long rest after whatever conversation we have, you can do that too.
that too. But just in case everything explodes in the next 2 minutes, I'd like to, or
Okay.
an hour and 2 minutes, I'd like to start short resting. Anyway, I say, well, the business side of it, I don't know. Maybe you should hear it from the captain. He's, in charge and stuff. It might be his story to tell.
All right. Well, Feghrin, tell me what it is. Why are you here?
I carried a curse for many decades, but joined this crew about 4 or 5 years ago now. And yes, there was a lot in the north. Entire civilizations, an elven empire, wars, a horrible plague that would have devoured the world. Maybe it still will. We survived, and when it was all said and done, I had to leave that crew. I was content like you back then, I thought I had seen the end of my life. And had my boat, caught fish with a friend. I thought it was over for me. I thought I had found myself there with one leg in one realm and the other in the last one. And destiny had something else planned for me. And so, sent out a message for anyone that was interested in joining. And well, we set a sail with 2 ships to the south, weeks across the water, until we found Lucerna. But before we found Lucerna, we found Nexvoyer and his ships and the tower at sea. We were hired by Nexvoyer to find you in this ship. We went to Lucerna, started trying to find you. And, well, it's interesting you were raised there, I have to tell you. It's a strange town. Another thing you might not believe is we're sheesh match champions. As we asked around town, Rondah, a lot of people have a fondness for you. No one wanted to say where you are, or even give any hints. Actually, they sent us off on some wrong directions. Eventually, we started to suspect that something was wrong. After we won the tournament, we were invited to a dinner by Governor Elliot, the little man. And he extorted us and threatened to impound our ship and imprison us if we didn't ship something and didn't ask any questions on the shipment. We also found a ship before that. They were shaking someone down on the docks. They had hired all these people to work the ship, not sailors. The ship had some sort of... And I look over to Claroki and I'm like, kind of like, what was it?
It was evil. Pure, unadulterated evil.
She begins to giggle with the bottle between her lips, and she says, is it your first time seeing things like that?
Not really.
She leans back and kind of like puts her boots up on the table, and she says, I've seen a lot of evil. In fact, I've even experienced it firsthand.
So then what do you know about suicidal ships?
Suicidal ships? I don't know. But desperate sailors pulling desperate measures, that I do know. And then she kind of like gestures to the room around her.
Well, that's fine, but the Federation is supposed to be here in 2 days, 2.5. Governor Elliot wants us to make this shipment before that happens. And Nexvoyer is breathing down my neck out of this bottle. If you want to talk to him. Scoots is asking about you.
Oh, she like giggles again. She's like, "Oh, Scoots, he was one of the good ones."
I thought so too.
I'm not. I mean, that's the whole point of being here. Is Nex can't reach me. He's one of those Neverborn, so it's not gonna work.
Neverborn?
Yeah, Neverborn. Yeah, I forget. You guys are just a couple of buoys. You don't know any of this. Okay, Neverborn. All right. How do I explain this? And she like starts looking around for things to use examples. She like pulls out this knife that's sheathed, and she goes, "This is a god. All right. You call this god whatever you want. That's a god. Okay. Everyone on the same page here."
Sure, that's a god.
And she looks at each of you.
The knife is a god. Okay, got it.
All right. Now, you call this god whatever you want. You worship it. It's more powerful. Now watch this. And she like unsheathes the knife, and she goes, "Now this is different than that. You agree?" And she like points at the sheath, and then she points at the blade, and then she points back at the sheath. And goes, "All right. Now this..."
Clue gives her a confused look.
"This and that, they're both the same thing, right? But they're separated now. And you say you want to worship this one, and you say you want to worship that one. and now they're both two separate gods, but they're both the same god. Okay, so gods can be worshipped lots of different ways and called by different names. And once they're called different names and worshipped under those names, they gain new powers and separate. All right. Well, sometimes the separation isn't so clean, and things get left behind. Those spirits are what we call neverborn. All right, ghosts that haunt people at night, kobolds that cause trouble. These spirits that were once existed and then forgotten. Or you can call them corpses of gods, right? These spirits that they're never born. They were never really given physical form. Next is one of those. He was a tiefling that I knew for a long time. You can see her like trying to like hold back emotion, and it's really uncertain what type of emotion it is. But like she's speaking slowly and reposing herself, and she says, "And he died. And then we heard about this pool on this island, Lucerna, that's just to the north, and on the other side of the perilous jungle. And if we could reach it, we could bring him back. And we did, and we made it there. This pool of sacred water. We dip his dead body in, and he comes back. But it wasn't him. It was one of the Neverborn. Turns out he was still a decent guy for the most part. He was a bit more cocky, which was fun for a while. But then something about it started gathering people, praising him. Almost like they were worshiping him. And that's when things started to get scary. The needle. Oh boy, the Needleback. You've seen it, right? It's a moving fortress, and not only that, he's got a whole fleet of ships. One that Barry used to be a part of. And it was cool, being a part of a growing empire. But once he realized there was a lot of coin in feeding other fish, that's when I decided I don't want to be a part of this anymore. But you can't just up and leave Freelancer's empire so easily. So we took me and Salem, we took our time, planned it out. And she's like, her hands like start shaking, and she like starts to pet her forehead. It's like, and it didn't work out, and he didn't make it, and it was a bloody mess. But I'm close. I'm close to finding out how to help, how to bring these guys back. I know it's a possibility. I know we can get who we want back, and it doesn't have to be more of these cursed spirits.
You're still trying to raise your friends from the dead.
I mean, not actively, but that's my end goal. I just want them to be able to make the same choice that I have. I have the choice to take my own life right now if I wanted to. Why don't they get that choice from the other side?
I understand.
So, once Chisel fixes up old Barry here, I'm heading to the underworld, the ones the dwarves made, or like the crypt of the world, or whatever you want to call it, the afterlife. That's where I'm going, and I'm gonna find him, and I'm gonna bring him back.
The real necks, and Salem
well,
too, perhaps.
Yeah, all
I
of
see.
them.
Well, and I turn to Floki and Kleroki, and I say, "It seems our job here is finished."
You can see her like get uneasy, and she like quickly grabs her dagger back off the table, and she goes, "Yeah, like I said, what are you gonna do now that you know I'm here?"
Nothing.
Sail to the sunset. Or sunrise.
What about next?
What about him?
You don't give him something, he'll be after you guys.
I think we've all had people after us before.
That's no way to live, sailor. She stands up and shakes off her dust coat. And she goes, look, guys, I don't want to... You shouldn't have messed with them, but I don't... You know what, maybe I've been thinking too much about fairy tales. You guys should just turn me in. That would solve all their problems.
Why does Nex want your ship so badly?
she laughs and she goes, he said that?
Yeah, that's why we're here.
Because she's one of the few that can make it past the All Guard.
The what now?
Oh, yeah, you buoys, I forget this. The All Guard, it's, so glass vessels are the only ones that could make it on land, right? Well, there's this reef, if you could call it that, that kind of cuts through the Iron Sea. It's southeast of here. It's this large reef, makes some pretty nasty stuff. Makes the water not really water anymore. And if you try sailing normal ships through there, they basically melt away. You need something that can resist that stuff. Glassing the vessel makes it resistant, but eventually, and then throughout enough time, you will not make it anymore. However, Nex found a way around this using the Mornfill Tower. Mornfill Tower, I don't know, you guys saw the tower, right? Have you been over that way? Okay, I figured, because he was probably near there. Yeah, he figured out that if you use the tower, the direction of the tower shadow creates different rifts. And he can ride these rifts as if they're currents to different locations. So he's been using that as a backdoor around the All Guard. But that's why he also protects it, because you could call it gatekeeping, rather. He's trying to create supply and demand by not letting things through. So I guess if he's after a berry here, he considers me a threat. She takes another sip, which I guess is a good thing. But as you can see here, I don't think she's going to see water anytime soon.
How did the ship get here?
She pauses for a while and thinks about how she's going to answer. She goes, well, I was a fool. I heard there was someone pretty powerful, Bayakava, that can make my wishes come true. So I went there with all of my money I've made from my service to Nex, and I bought me a wish scroll. Turns out those don't...
A wish scroll?
Yeah, a piece of paper that lets you change your life however you wish.
Now, everything you've said so far is pretty fantastic, Rondah. But I believe it. But a scroll that'll change whatever you want.
Yeah, I didn't. I was a skeptic too. But then I messed it up because I didn't believe it, and I half-assed my wish. So, yeah, I wish to be safe, and this was deemable as safe as she kind of gestures around. So she leans up against the table and she says, yeah, it was a piece of paper ruined my life.
So you're gonna need another piece of paper to get this ship out of here.
Or I could just leave her behind. I mean, Barry served me well, but if she's stuck here and Nex can't get her, then I feel like I've won. And, I'll find another ship maybe.
Well, I'm looking for more crew. You're welcome to join us. You've shown that you could make an incredible ship's officer as a captain all these years. You'd be an asset to us, of course. But I feel like I can relate to what you said about the ones you've lost. So if you want to see the plan through, and you're set on death, I believe everyone, piece of paper or not, should be able to make their own choices, as you said.
Well, that's the thing is, and she can see, like, she's, like, almost, like, tearing up, and she's, like, biting her tongue a bit. She goes, I'm scared of Max. And, if you guys are going to be on the run from him, I don't know if I could, truly be happy. I'm, at an impasse here, because, I could, let you guys turn me in, and then you guys run free, or I could, we could split up, and, you know, I have to live with the fact that I know I've doomed just a couple more sailors to meet their fate.
You keep calling us a buoy, and, well, I'll keep being a buoy here, because there's just some other details that we need to be in a little bit finer grain. The Federation. What in the God's name is the Federation? Why is it coming here in 2 days?
The Federation of the Free Isles, bunch of pompous thugs got together and called themselves king, and everyone else bowed down. That's basically what happened. For the most part, they're harmless. I mean, they charge us taxes and whatnot, but for the most part, they get their payments from the Young Sun Syndicate, so they leave most people alone. I think there's 12 of them, a couple nobles, most of them are on Lambu, others in Eau Caché. I think there's even a couple in Tutukore, but yeah, these nobles, they all put their riches together into an empire. You said you've met an elvish empire? I find that hard to believe. Not many elves through here, but from the north, it gets to, wow, worlds apart, right? Yeah, and Bowie is just she laughs and she's like, Lambu is filled with rich, pompous. She's like thinking about how to like not get angry as she's describing him. And she's like, brats, just brats. And they're uneducated. They don't know much. So if you're from Lambu, most commoners call you buoys. That's how that goes. Don't mean to turn you into those guys, but that's they always ask the dumbest questions. If you just walk outside and see the sun, you know what it is. I don't need to describe it to you. But what about you? You've been quiet there, oh lizard folk. Why you? I mean, I don't mean to say you don't look like a sailor, but
first of all, lizard folk are my cousin. I'm more of a dragon folk. But yeah, sufficient to say I ran into some trouble. Me and some of my friends, and I joined up here with Feghrin as a way to get away. And then we sailed to the south. And I don't think they'll be bothering us. Considering I don't think there's any other northerners who have come down to the south.
probably not. Just
Other
just
than these fair harbors that were mentioned earlier.
Oh. Is he the only one you've met?
Yes.
Fair Harbors? Oh, okay. Well. Oh. Hang on a second. Something else. No, okay.
Can I see, like, she keeps talking about Barry. I'm assuming Barry's a ship, right?
Yeah.
Barracuda.
Barracuda.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just double checking, making sure that I'm not about to do something stupid. If she keeps saying that it's sick,
Mm-hmm.
could I try and see what she means by that?
All right. Yeah. You can go ahead and roll an Arcana or Religion or a really difficult insight.
Religion. Where is it? All right. Here we go. That's a 9 for religion.
As you look around, you don't get any strange, like, markings or anything like that that would indicate, like, ritualistic, anything like that. It's like there's like no signs visibly of like weirdness or like decay or like arcane magic or like really anything like that. There's really no descriptors other than some wear and tear of just existing.
All right, then I'm gonna basically ask her outright. When she keeps calling her ship sick, what do you mean by that?
Well, I don't know how much you're into religion or like the gods and stuff. There's a god they call Tago, and rumor says that Tago gave out the threads of her hair to mankind, and from those threads, men got the knowledge of how to build ships, the blueprints rather, and so each of these threads has like a certain significance. And like, and she's like, I'm not a carpenter, so I don't or a shipwright. I just know what they tell me, and I try to believe it now, because not believing has screwed me over so many times in the past. But they say that ships have like descendants, and the more ships are made alike to others, and certain ones have different powers and presences. So I have a pretty good idea that there's a Comblaterman on Old Berry, and that she is sick, and it's due to the fact that she's not one of the 33 threads, and
So it's an unnatural ship.
more like she's possessed, and the spirit is dying because the body can't hold her. I mean, there were times when I heard voices, screams, as I tried to sleep, and at first I thought I was just going crazy, you know, in my head, and fear building up. But everyone else on the crew could hear it too. Started hearing voices that steered me towards Latrina and kept me here, and it has something to do, I think, with a Neverborn. But of course, they've ruined my life so many times before, so I can't really let those go.
I would like to do a thing.
Okay.
I would like to send Key over a few feet to like the hull of the ship
Okay.
and have her use heart sight on it.
All right. You can
Which
describe
is
Heartsight to me.
that's shenanigans. Figure this out one day. All right. Heart sight. The sprite touches a creature and magically knows the creature's current emotional state. If the target fails a DC 10 charisma saving throw, that's DC 14 because I got shenanigans. The sprite also knows the creature's alignment. Celestials, fiends, and undead automatically fail the saving throw.
Wow. Oh, cool. Okay. She does it. She definitely gets a sense of undead.
Oh.
Oof.
And it's chaotic neutral.
Am I able to glean any other interesting information?
I think she had it pretty well on point when she was guessing. But it's basically a spirit's possessed the ship.
All right. I'll say, okay. Okay. And Floki kind of rubs his hands together and is like isn't making eye contact with anyone, just kind of being thoughtful. And he says, you're I think you're right. I think you're. That's interesting. I wasn't expecting that. You're a stowaway. seems to be some type of undead, but
She
it
like
doesn't seem malicious.
she puts her hand on her hip, like on the hilt of her blade, and she kind of like looks over her shoulder at the wall, and she like looks back at you, and she's like, "Stowaway."
The spirit, the one possessing your ship.
Oh. And she kind of like stands up and looks around, and like draws her blade, and she's like, "You can go. You hear that? Get out of here." And then
don't
she
think
looks at
it's-
you and kind of like shrugs.
It doesn't seem malicious. It's just, oh, this is weird. I wasn't expecting that.
I mean, have you experienced malicious ships before?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. Um. Well, I don't know how to fix this. She says. And
Do
she's like-
you?
She's like, I heard that, ships get upset when they're not taken care of, and I've put her through hell and back. So I thought that this chisel guy would, make repairs and she'd heal. And she like scratches her forehead and she's like, I don't know how to deal with spirits.
From the heart site, was I able to glean the creature's current emotional state?
Oh yeah. Current emotional state. I would say exhausted and a little disheartened.
Yeah, the spirit does seem tired and kind of demoralized. Mm.
And she like looks down at the floorboards and kind of like kicks up some dirt. And she's like, probably because she knows she ain't seen water again.
Yeah, that won't help a whole lot. What if? I don't know. Have you ever heard Ship of Theseus?
Out of character, I don't know what you said. You'll have to repeat that.
I said, have you ever heard of the Ship of Theseus?
Oh, nope.
All right. Well, it's largely unimportant. But I wonder if, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. I wonder if we can't remove the whole ship. But, what is a ship but a series of individual parts? And I wonder if we could take some parts of the ship out. Like maybe the wheel.
You want to take Barry apart because you think you could unbury the spirit?
Maybe. I don't know. What would you like to do?
Fix the situation? She looks around. I just don't want, some possessed rope to wrap around my neck until I tell it to.
No, I don't think it's that kind of spirit. Like I said, it doesn't seem bad.
I mean, it's not killed you so far.
Been with you all this way.
She kind of nods.
Now, would there be a way to, like, I'm thinking,
Mm-hmm.
And before I say this out loud, I want to, like, see if it's a thing that could actually happen before I say this out loud. But would there be a way to transfer the spirit to something else, to, like, either another ship or something else that could go to the water if you wanted to keep the spirit of the ship, basically?
I think. Oh man, I think everyone can go ahead and roll a insight or religion check then. If you say that out loud.
All right.
I got a 2.
I got a 3.
I got
What
a
about-
nat 20.
And now
Hey, look at that.
The
You've
religious
heard-
guy gets a nat 20.
Yeah. You've heard rumors about these beings that stay alive by keeping their souls trapped in objects. They're called phylacteries, and those beings are called liches, these powerful lords of undeath. And you know that spirits can be trapped in phylacteries, spirits can be trapped in different objects all the time. How to transfer that, you don't know. You would need to find some expert in soul capturing to be able to do that. But you do know it's a possibility.
All right. So then I'm going to ask, are you more worried about getting the physical ship itself back to the ocean, or the spirit of the ship back to the ocean?
Well, as Floki said, she has been with me a while. I'd like to make her happy. And she kind of shrugs and she says, but I'm not really concerned about Barry anymore. I've kind of come to a understanding that I can't do anything about the situation. Really, I only worry about Nex anymore.
There may be possibly a way to transfer her spirit to something else, either another ship or something else, to get her back to the water. Now, I wouldn't know how to do this, and we have to find like a master or an expert in order to learn or figure out how to do it.
Okay. Well, we could start asking questions. There's gotta be someone out there that knows how to do it. I mean, I've made it this far not knowing just about anything besides sailing. So I think maybe it is time I hang up my hat and let someone else do the thinking.
You mentioned worrying about Nex. What do you want for him?
I want him to get off. I want him to forget about me. That's what I want. I want him to not care that one person left his little entourage. I want to move on and leave on good terms, but it's like if you aren't bowing down to him, you're his enemy, and I don't understand it. Because if you're a civilian on land, you're no good to him, and he doesn't even care what you think of him. But once you're on a boat, all of a sudden you have to recognize him, or he gets all pissy.
Well, I think we can do that easy enough.
Oh?
Yeah. Wasn't it obvious? My grandma always used to say to me, the best lie is the truth. We have a bottle. We can tell him right now exactly what happened. You got your hands on a wish spell, teleported the ship into the middle of a temple deep in land where it's never going to come out of, and you decided to hang up your hat and stay in the temple. You'd be no threat to him. He couldn't be able to touch you. And in the meantime, the rest of us leave, including you.
All right.
He wouldn't need to know.
Man. And she looks upward through the grate out up into the starlight. And she goes, but if you all made it through that river, he probably could too.
Why would he want to, though? You said that if someone's on land, he doesn't care. You'd be as landlocked as it gets, and it would be a lot of effort to even go find you. And he already sent people to go find you. That's us. Doubling up, that's a lot of work for someone who doesn't matter to him.
Tripling up.
He'll send Dancer and Beamer out here to retrieve it. He'll excavate Barry back out of here.
Actually, he already sent Beamer.
Oh. Do you know where she went?
Return to the fleet.
So, but probably because they can't find us. So if you tell them where, he'll try a lot harder to get her out. Maybe we should take her apart, sabotage
It's an
her.
option.
Out of character, Floki / Caleb. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, you were talking about dismantling the ship, and I've been going through notes and looking at things and trying to figure it out. Did you mention dismantling the wheel? You did, didn't you? Someone
I
mentioned the
mentioned
wheel.
potentially removing the wheel or some other
That's what I thought.
highly significant part of the ship.
Because Todd mentioned that the wheel might be the problem.
Something about it being cursed.
Aye.
Oh yeah, we were talking about curses a while back. Could we get back on that? Is that just the general, the curse, the ship having a spirit, or is there a more specific curse I should know about?
Oh no, that's about it. She's I mean, I thought it was bury herself for a while, but yeah. And sometimes you can hear when you are holding steering. You could the wheel, yeah.
I would like to get up and go investigate the wheel.
Okay. When you look at the wheel, it's just a standard wheel. As you can see, it's worn and torn, and there's a small carving of a dragon on the center point, where you would know that would be like the center of the keel.
All right, I'll sort of take out key and say, what? I'm an expert in everything, but you know so much more than me. What's going on here? Is there anything that you? What sorcery is this?
I mean, I told you it's an undead. I felt it. It
Does it
wasn't
have
really
a
that bad.
Does it have a focal point? Do you
I
know how to go about communicating with it?
I don't speak undead. I don't know. I've seen the undead a lot, and I mean, in fact, when I met you, you were kind of surrounded by them. But I don't I don't really know how to answer your questions. But I'm here. I got your back, and she like kind of punches your earlobe, and it doesn't hurt at all.
And I love you for it. All right, let's see what we got here. I'll spin the wheel around a little bit. I'll mess with it, interact
Okay.
with it.
All right, give me an insight check.
Oh man, I'm so insightful. And you know what? I'm not just insightful, I'm inspired. Let's inspiration this.
Alrighty.
All right, boy, I deserved that. Okay. Uh, yep, that's a 3 or not a 3, an 11.
An 11. With an 11, you get this strange sense of like immediately when you pull it, there's no resistance, and you can tell it's probably not connected to any of the pulleys that would steer the ship anymore. And you kind of pull it backwards, and you do get like this faint sigil, this carving of the dragon. There's like a faint flicker of light for a moment. And at that
What
point,
happens if I spin the wheel really fast?
you spin it really fast, it begins to glow. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
I accept your terms. 10.
With a 10, you feel a voice echo through your ears. And it says, what do you what?
You, talk, to you.
Don't mock me.
All right, I apologize. That was rude. But, we've got rapport now. We've established communications, and that's an improvement. So, hello, my name's Floki.
There's no response.
How can I help you? Spin the wheel a little. What did it say?
Free me.
How can I go about doing that?
There's no response.
Interesting. Where are you?
You feel the floorboards beneath you start to like curl. The steering wheel like opens up. Each of the sprues like begins to like look almost like teeth, The mast begins to curl to the shape of a crown. The whole ship like rocks over to one side. Both of the cannons swivel to face you, and you just hear, "I am here."
Gotcha. All right.
I
That
promptly
complicates
jump
my
off
job.
the ship.
Yeah. Foki looks, if anyone looks at him, he's the most unperturbed person has ever been. He's just like stroking his little beard. It's like, all right, all right. Is there a way I can remove you from here? Take you somewhere else?
So out of character, if you found a phylactery or other like viable vessel to hold a soul, that would work. You would be able to do that, and that's what they tell you. Like,
Man, I don't know anything
need to
about
be
phylacteries.
it needs something else to contain it, or a body.
Or a body.
Come here, Clyde. Come here, boy.
No.
Clyde's a dog, first of all, and he's technically still alive,
Oh,
and
man. Can
he's
you imagine
with
a
Tulu.
lich dog? Holy crap.
On one hand,
I bet it's
I'm
a
with
thing.
Kluroki that it's an objectively horrible thing to do, and on the other hand, can there be any other outcome than this adventure ending with us having a lich dog?
Apparently, it's actually a thing. It's called a lich hound, and it's really awful.
I strongly disagree.
All right, let's see what I've got. Do. Scrolling through stuff. Man.
Oh, that's horrible.
So
Oh
So
my
out
god,
of
this is one of the
character-
worst things I've ever heard.
This is a problem that you guys probably won't be able to solve. Like if you wanted to,
Thank you.
if you wanted to be able to, well, like okay, I'm not saying it's undoable,
No.
but it's like if it's something that you really want to do, you will need experts. You will need someone else to come in and step in. You don't just happen to have a phylactery on you that can work. You're like, there's like, oh, I'll just not only spin the wheel, but I'll also tie this little rope to it, and that'll fix it. And like, no, there's nothing here
so
that
no
you do.
lich hound, lich dog.
Correct. But the longer you do spin here, the more ideas you might have and stuff like that. But I don't want to sit here while you guys spin your wheels if you
All right.
want to keep working on this problem.
Can I attempt to remove the wheel?
Yeah, it pops right off.
All right. And does the wheel still seem to be possessed?
No, it doesn't.
Interesting. I figured it out. We need to dismantle the ship.
Yep. It's a lich's phylactery. Burn it.
Oh, okay. That too. Well, anyway, I go back down. I'm like, all right, well, the ship is definitely possessed. Very possessed.
I gathered that.
Yeah, no. It's it seems pretty friendly though. I like it. Don't know that I can do anything about it though.
Okay.
There doesn't seem to be any way to move it.
Yeah, I've already come to those terms a couple months ago.
Maybe. Well, it did ask me. I did communicate with it. It wasn't very conversative, but it did ask me to free it. And there's two ways I could think about going about doing that. We could literally free it, which seems logistically impossible at the moment, or we could metaphorically free it by burning the ship. And I don't know if that would be acceptable to it.
I would think it would object to getting burned.
It's hard to tell. I mean, it might be trapped in the ship unwillingly, you know?
Yes, but if you're in jail, do you want to get burned alive to get out of there?
Rondah says, "Yeah, I would."
Yeah, prison's pretty. I would die first.
wasn't
Yeah.
talk-
What about you, Feghrin? Would you burn alive to get out of there? You've never been in prison. What am I talking about?
I'll go. You know what I'll do? I'll go right back up to the wheel and I'll spin it around and I'll say, "Would destroying the ship free you?"
It paused, like you don't hear anything for a moment, and the second you think that you're not going to get a response, you finally hear, "I would cease to exist without a body."
would that be good to you or bad?
The cannon like slowly swivels towards you with a squeak, and
I wave at it.
he says, "Should I take your body as well?"
No, no, thank you. I'm just trying to help, really. I don't mean any harm. Whatever it's worth. I'm just, it's a difficult situation, you know.
You hear a disgruntled sigh, and just let me rot.
I salute, go back down, say, "Yep, I don't have any solutions to this problem. It seems like the ship's a ship."
So it didn't want to get burned.
No, it didn't seem to like that very much. It seemed like it preferred to stay here. But anyway, yeah. So, this has been Adventures with Floki. Anyway, that idea I had about dialing next about Rondah.
You could tell him you burned the ship to free the spirit. Except, we're not actually going to burn the ship.
Oh, I mean, just like the ship's unrecoverable, that should be enough. Anyone? Thoughts, concerns, yays, nays?
Well,
I feel like at the end of this, we're going to get hunted by Nex regardless of what we do.
Nah, I think he doesn't care about us a whole lot. We did what he asked us to do and failed because the situation was unsalvageable, and that's that.
I agree with Floki. In this case, the best lie is the truth. A wise saying indeed.
What did he offer you anyway?
Oh, barrels for glassing purposes. I got a ship, the Red Herring. It's a pretty small thing. Impressive for a sloop. Very fast, very nice ship, and it wouldn't take a whole lot to glass the thing, and it'd be pretty handy. But hey, if we don't get it, we don't get it.
That glass can be pretty valuable, but Nyx may sell a lot of it. He's not the only place to get it.
Mm-hmm. And hey, it's not the end of the world. We got ships for the sea and legs for the land.
Aye. You said you have 2 ships in your fleet?
Aye.
Well, what's the other?
The Twilight's Revenge. It's a hefty fishing vessel. It's got the storage and cargo capacity. Keeps the crew. We keep it as a sort of main base for the fleet.
Ah. Well, you wouldn't be happening to be selling to Necropolis anytime soon, would you?
Out of character, is that where we're going? I can't.
No, she's like talking about the afterlife or like death. That's where she still wants to go.
Rondah,
Are we going to die?
eventually the time comes for everyone. But I will not be sending you there.
Well, then I'll have to decline your invitation to join your crew, and I'm afraid we'll be separating then. Going our separate ways.
Aye. It was good to meet you, Rondah. I wish you the best, wherever you sail.
You too. And she like just reaches out her hand.
Tygo bless you. And he grabs her hand.
And you as well. What do I... People will probably be asking, what do I call you guys?
We're the Twilight's Revenge Company. Or that's what we were.
She begins to grab that liquor bottle. You see her like polish a part of it. She takes out her dagger and starts to carve into the glass. And it like sounds absolutely excruciating to the ear. But eventually she stops. She takes out this gemstone and she like jams it into the bottom of the bottle. There's like a faint glow. And she goes, "Here." And she hands it to you, Feghrin.
What is it?
She like, basically just made a gilded bottle in front of your eyes and then hands it to you.
Wow. Okay. Staying in touch then.
I mean, if you change your mind about Acropolis, you'll know where to find me then.
Aye. I put it on my belt. Let's see.
Is this necropolis like a physical location?
I think so. And she like steps away from the room for a moment. Like you see her reaching around to the back, and she comes back, and she's got this like tome. Most of it looks like soiled and ruined. And she like opens it open, and there's like fungus and mold kind of coming out of it. And she like flips through it. Eventually, she finds like basically a chart, but most of it is gone from the edges. So like it's like difficult to tell because there's no actual entry point to this chart. She goes around. It's just they made a map of it, so it exists somewhere.
I'd like to investigate this map here.
All right.
Can I make any sense of it?
Yes. Give me a investigation check.
All right, that's a 14.
A 14. From what you can tell, this is a map gauged for about 100-mile radius, and there is indeed like a islands like structure on it. What you can tell about it is it's incredibly old. Like this piece of paper is probably the oldest thing you've ever seen, and it looks useless because there's no context, there's no graph of otherwise, but it's just like an image of an island and like 100-mile radius, all that's been charted out and like shows different points of like riptides and different things like that have been like marked down on it. But it's also like the script that's with it is both illegible and probably a language you couldn't read anymore.
All right.
Is it possible that the Gaunt could come and go to this place?
That's an interesting question that I haven't the faintest clue of an idea. Hey, Dungeon Master, did that question make sense to me?
Yeah. You would think like the Gaunt could like teleport everywhere as far as you know. So there'd be a good reason to believe the Gaunt probably could go there and back. And it's also basically a ghost ship, so you can imagine.
Rondah, are you able to read this?
No, but I had it translated, so I know that's what it's called, Necropolis.
The rest of the book, though, is this?
Oh, phew. And she like starts flipping through it, and she's like, honestly, I don't even know what kind of book this was at one point. And she like because most of it is like literally soiled and like ruined. Like there's very little actual book here. It's lots of different like pages that have just like smeared with like blood and soot and like charcoal and like water and like just been absolutely ruined. In fact, like as she flips one page, it like crumbles and turns to dust in her hands. And she's like, yeah, I had it translated for me by Kava. That's about it. And they didn't tell me much else. They couldn't read much of it. But it's in a language of Terran, or the rock folk, the deep folk of Eau Caché could probably help. That's where I got it. I got it translated, and then that's basically just got my hopes up again about it being real.
Okay, well, Rondah, if you don't mind me saying, I'm a little, I don't know. We've been looking for you. He'll make eye contact with her. She doesn't do often. He says, "We've been looking for you a long time. We've met a lot of people who met you, and you had a crew who clearly cared about you, and you touched a lot of people over time. And I don't think your story should end here. I don't think that'd be fair to yourself or to these other people who you knew. We're explorers. We travel around. We see things, and we interact with strange powers. Now, we don't know anything about this necropolis ourselves, but it doesn't sound like you do either. And I don't think you have a way of getting there. If you hang around with us, and you think that this way lies happiness, I think that we can find a way to help you find it. It certainly sounds interesting to me. And if you stay around with us for just a little while, now I'll hold up the book, say, I can read this.
Okay.
I think that I'd like it if you came with us.
Give me a persuasion check.
All right, boy, howdy, I used my inspiration already, but let's be persuasive. 17.
17. She goes, man, it would really help if you didn't look exactly like him. She stands up and she says, Captain, is that offer still on the table?
Aye, it is.
Well, you have your accords on you?
I don't recommend signing them. We have all come to regret that. Probably be better just to stow away.
What kind of terms? Is it kinky shit? I mean, what?
Very. It's more like it outlaws kinky shit, which is unfortunate because,
I mean, you gotta sign. I'm gonna be part of your crew.
Feghrin hands it to her.
All right, she looks it over, and she goes, "Oh, I should tell you." She's like reading over. She's like, "I should tell you, I know a little magic, not super fancy about it or anything." And she's like holding the quill in her hand, and she's continuing to read over it. She reads over all of it, and she signs your name, hands it back to you.
All right.
All right. Let's get the show on the road.
To the Twilight's Revenge Company.
She bows deeply.
Let's make our way out. Best of luck to you, Barracuda. It was good to meet you, too. And I, pat the ship.
Give me an insight check. And what do you say, Clurby?
No, I was just gonna pet the ghost dog.
Okay. You can
I mean, I can't leave without giving the ghost dog a pet.
Give me a dexterity saving throw.
I thought you liked me.
He said no bite, don't pet me, please.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's okay.
I forgot about that. Okay. All right. Yeah, Clurby completely forgot about that.
It's all right. You got an armored arm.
Yeah, armored arm is probably not gonna.
22.
At 22, you're able to pull your hand away before he snaps at it. Feghrin, as you're stepping off, saying goodbye to the ship, you feel a faint warmth, almost like sunlight, help you on the way out.
All right.
So you guys
I grumble something about crappy ghost dogs.
As you guys open the door,
before we open the door, I would like to pet the ghost dog with Mage Hand.
All right, he totally bites it. Mage Hand, he's like, and Mage Hand dissipates.
Yeah, Poke just says, "Good boy, good boy."
He can't talk to you because the spell has 4 off, but he would have said something otherwise. He actually just dissipates. When you come into the other room, you see Tulu and Chisel have been putting down twigs on this tiger skin for a while, and Chisel is sitting there with his arms crossed, and Tulu's scratching his head. He goes, "Oh, you guys are done talking already? Wow, Tulu's ready to go." And he stands up and he walks towards you guys. He goes, "So, where are we gonna go? What are we gonna do? We see anything cool?" And then Rondah steps through. He's like, "Oh, Rondah." And then she's like, "Hello there." And he's like, I'm Tulu Skippadoo. Pleasure to meet you." And he shakes her hand. And then that's about it. All that happens there.
Is there a place we could rest before the morning?
Well, we could take one last sleep and bury. That's what you guys want to do.
In the
I mean,
murderous
do we
ghost
want to take a rest?
flapper ship?
It's not murderous at all. It's very nice.
I think Nexus guys had a campsite out front before I fed him to Mr. Tangles.
Yeah, Mr. Dangles?
Oh yeah, there's a super creepy thing on that wing. Don't go that way. Mr. Tangles lives there, and yeah, I fed him a couple of Nexus guys.
Hey, what is Mr. Tingles?
Let's
Mr.
not
Tangles,
ask questions that
he's-
we don't want
he's
answers
got
to.
these. He's got these, and she like does this with her arms, and she's like, yeah.
And Pokey points
He's
at her and
not very
says, "See,
friendly.
see, that's what I said."
I have changed my mind, and if we're going to take a long rest, I'd like to do it on the ship.
All right, because you
Back
can
in
do
we
that,
go.
or you can just muster back out to your ships. Because
I'm down with that.
it's not even been a full day, so you're not going to get exhaustion just by going back to your.
We were
Shit.
attacked by. I mean, if that's like just a thing that we can do, easy clap, that's great.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so we're not gonna get like ambushed by hunters along the way or anything.
No.
While our spell slots are depleted.
Yeah,
all right.
No, you're.
Was
good.
I able
You
to
guys-
successfully short rest during all of this conversing?
Yeah.
Okay, then when we leave, I would like to, for funsies, I don't know, maybe it'll kill us all. But I would like to cast, because I went through all the effort, I would like to cast Remove Curse on the ship, and then run away.
All right. Remove curse. Can you read it? Not read it for like verbatim, but like tell me, does the level of the spell matter or anything like that?
No, it just straight up does it. It says at your touch, it's a very short description. At your touch, all curses affecting one creature or object end. If the object is a cursed magic item, its curse remains, but the spell breaks its owner's attunement to the object, so it can be removed or discarded.
Gotcha. Yep. All right, do that.
And then I run away.
you run out of the room. Your feet echo down the stone corridors until eventually you make your way back out into the jungle, and eventually make your way back out to Clangton. Just as the sun begins to rise over the horizon, you would know that at this point the Federation will be arriving tomorrow. And over the last evening, your shipment would have already been delivered of your barrels.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
You guys eventually. The barrels, the Bellowing Barrels,
Yeah,
Robib had them delivered the previous night while you guys are out doing this
Oh,
adventure.
onto the ships.
So so Strider loaded them up, and then I imagine somewhere along the
Jordan
lines they
did
were
our
transferred
job
over.
for us.
Yeah,
He did his
basically.
job for him.
Yeah, he did his own job for himself.
He gets a
yeah.
share.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I don't know how to do math, but Quinchell's got to figure out how much of the actual winnings you each get. Because like the 50,000, I don't know how you guys split that. But
Yeah, I don't know
I'll leave that
quite
to you
how
guys.
we adjudicate that because we've got all this crew, and so one share per each person would be kind of it'd have some weird dynamics.
Unless
don't know
you
if
like
that's
you
our
split
rule.
it equally amongst
Well-
the winners, and then the winners split it amongst their crew members.
The Accords actually say that like the prize is each officer gets 2 shares or something along those lines. So
All right.
you'll have
I
look
need
at
to
the
find
Accord.
these accords and read them because I obviously don't know.
Yeah, Rondah just like sat in front of us and read the accords.
Yeah,
Just
like
a
good
total
student.
power move.
When I get back onto the Twilight's Revenge, can I do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so
You want to hand out the records? Yeah.
no, I have some business with Quintrell.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we go down into like the sort of like a captain's quarters or something like that. I don't know how the
I
compartments
imagine-
are.
I imagine in the
Probably
aft there's
not.
like a sectioned off area, like not really like a full on aft castle, but like a area that's like confined. Where I imagine like Quinchell's already made it into like a little office area where he keeps all your guys' legal documents and logs and stuff.
Okay, I go in there and I'm like, Quintrell, it's good to see you.
Yeah, Captain, welcome back. Did you find anything interesting?
Oh, did we? We have some tales to tell. We'll have to do it on land with something to drink. But probably not this land. Contrail. And I take out the accords. I'm like, I noticed an error in the accords, and I like hand it to him, and on the accords, like the date is off, but it's because so it has the date when it was signed, which I think is actually wrong. That I sent, which is good.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so like there was when it was actually done, but it's been messed up, and the date is off, and I'm like, it seems that our documentation is off, Contrail. It looks as though the date of the signing isn't quite right. Well, the only way I can see through this is if we prodate it.
Prodate, Captain?
Aye, well, we'll have to tell the crew. It's incredibly embarrassing. But, why, they weren't under the accords during that time. We'll have to move forward the date of the signing, make sure the crew is okay with that, of course. And still pay out the share, of course.
But the accords would have been void. They would have simply not acquired the prize. The prize would have been simply ours and Lindsay's to share then.
Aye, terribly embarrassing. But it only seems fair. As a measure of good faith to the crew.
Right? Well, of course.
So, if we could make the date, then 16th of Cloudscatter, 73rd year of the Green Age. And we'll let the rest of the crew know that we've made this error.
Very well. And at this point, it would actually be the 17th, because the sun is officially rose on the 17th.
And, I need some help in drafting a letter. And I won't do that in character, but basically the letter is to Nyx, and it, Nyx, we've completed the job. We regret to inform you that the Barracuda has been cursed and thoroughly mothballed and stranded upon land deep under the earth, deep within a heavily guarded the nostrils of the
Facility.
earth by a snake, and is now possessed by a demon, and we also undead thing, lich, and we also regret to inform you that Rondah has abandoned her post, set aside her hat and her sails, and is no longer under your employ, and has instead decided to depart into another direction. If you'd like to meet to discuss these things, please do let us know, and send that to Scoots. I'm thinking of the guy from that
Scooty
video.
Magoots. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, Scooty Magoots.
Scooty Magoots, and also to Captain Nexvoyer.
All right. You send it in your bottle. You wait just a couple moments. You see a reply later. It says, "What a darn shame. I'm bald now anyway, so there's nothing I can do about it. But wish you all luck, Scoots."
Right. And thus ends the adventure in Lichurna.
Well, not
Sort
quite.
of. Not exactly.
Loki has a job to do. Several, but he's only going to do one of them. I would like to go to Timothy's.
All right.
And I would like to bring Rondah if she is interested in going. It's not important, but I'm like, hey, Timothy's out there. If you want to meet him and let him know you're okay, it's, I'm heading over
Yeah,
there.
she's not about it. She's like, let him just think I'm dead. That's what I'd rather him think.
All right, give her a salute, and I head off to Timothy's.
Okay. You make your way over to Timothy's. You can actually see like the front of his store has been refurbished. His sign is just a bit larger, and like the entryway is much more ornate than you remember it. In the last few days, he's been making renovations with the money from the winnings. Once you step inside, the racks are like actually pretty bare. You don't know if it's because everything's sold or because of just being like a lack of time to actually reproduce them. Um, but yeah, once you step inside, you see Timothy. There's, oh, hey there, one of my champions. How you doing?
Hey, Timothy, you're looking all right, and I'm glad to see it. Hey, listen, I just wanted to let you know, I think we're about to be heading off here. We've really enjoyed our time on Lucerna, but it's, I think, time to leave before someone kills us. It's all gone great, and we've really enjoyed our time with you. Before I left, I was wondering if I could place in order right quick, if you could bang
Oh,
it out for me.
yeah, sure, absolutely,
I
anything for my
what
champion.
I
And
what I'd love
begins
is a
to-
flag for my ship. You've seen it, so you should have an approximate.
a flag.
Yeah, you should have an
I
approximate idea of the dimensions, right?
Yeah, yes, I do. However, that's illegal. I can't make a flag. I wish I could. That'd be super cool. I'd hang it outside. Um, there are certain laws you have to go through to make your flags. Otherwise, might as well be considered a Jolly Roger.
Ah,
Can't make a
yes.
law.
Well, haha. Vulcan leans down and says, "That's exactly what I'm looking for."
Roll a persuasion check.
All right. Do 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 do. That's perception. Perception, not persuasion.
Persuasion. Persuasion.
If that's a roll, it would be an 11.
All right. You can see sweat begins to drip from his head. He's like, I I really I, I really wish I could for you. I really do. I could get in big trouble, and with your guys' help, things are turning around for me. I mean, Elliot even accepted my deal, and I think I'm gonna finally get accepted into the Young Sons Syndicate. I can't risk it right now.
Loki sort of smiles and waves in the air and says, "Oh, all right. I thought I'd ask. It would be it'd be kind of a neat thing. Out on the seas, it's kind of I mean, it's not that we go around, hunting down merchants or
Right.
anything, of course, but just sometimes clear communication helps prevent, dangerous misunderstandings. And so I thought getting a flag would be nice. But hey, I the last thing I want to do is cause trouble for you. So if it's too much of a problem, don't worry about it at all.
While you're saying this to him, you can see him like literally like doing something. It's really hard for you to know what you're doing while you're talking to him, but he eventually stops. He goes, "Right, misunderstandings can be quite the troublesome thing. It'd be quite the shame if a pattern of a flag would have, been made and then fell into the wrong hands. That'd be an awful shame." And he like literally turns his head, like scoots over a piece of fabric over the table. And basically he gives you a pattern for like how to like the proper dimensions for a flag and everything. It's basically just a flag that's not been cut out yet, and you could probably haggle and do someone else to be able to do it for you, or you can try doing it yourself or have someone else in your crew try it. But basically he does most of the work of making a flag without finalizing it.
Right? How much will that run me?
Uh, well, a good thing you didn't get one. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. And he just walks out of the room.
All right. Have
He's
a
trying to
great.
deny that. He's like denying the transaction ever
Yep.
happened. And
I'll sort of tuck under my arm and say, "All right, you have a great however long until I see you again."
bye.
And
He
I
says bye.
walk out.
I also want to do something. I don't know. It'd probably be before we head out to send this shipment to this island. I guess we gotta go do that too, right?
I mean,
So-
you have a day till the Federation shows up. That's basically
Oof, we don't want to be here.
you. Yeah.
Uh,
So I mean, you have a day to do something if you want to do something.
I'm posting the accords in the Sailor's Codex.
Yeah, should probably read those this time.
Let's see here. Boop. The message is too long. Gosh darn it. TLDR.
Yeah, like-
No ghosts. Don't lie to each other. And don't drink and gamble and fight each other on the ship. Do it on land.
I can definitely do 2 of those things.
Oh,
I can
man.
do most of those things.
I don't have my mouse because I moved to the couch because my back hurts. Cut. There. Oh, there. Okay, there's all the accords, finally. And then I will... Tiny little... Sorry, this is annoying, I know. Okay, pin it. Okay, it's pinned now to the Sailor's Codex. I get all of the ship's officers in the... I don't know where we would do it on the... I guess in the same place. And with Rondah, and I say, I figured we should let you know first. Quintrell and I were going over some of the documentation for the crew and some record-keeping business, and I look at Floki and Tulu and Kleroki, and I'm like, it seems there was a dating error on the accords. Terribly embarrassing.
Rhonda starts to snicker, and she leans over to Swipes, and she's like, "Did someone die recently?" And Swipes just sort of shrugs, and then Lindsay's like, "No, no one died. Why would you say that?" And she just says, "Oh, no reason." Continue, Captain.
Well, anyways, we'll have to let the crew know. They've not been bound by the Accords this entire time. Well, we've put the current date, just from yesterday. Since Rondah, you recently signed the Accords, and you read them. So, if anyone now disagrees with the Accords, they are, of course, entitled, as always, to, let me see, it's, drawing no one may, blah, 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 dueling. Somewhere here it says that you can leave. One of the main things says,
Number 4?
here it is. As it says, most importantly, and I looked at Rondah, every person is free. And so, if anyone wishes to exit the Accords, they may do so. But from this date forward, there be no secrets. And then I sit down and I tell them about how I was raised and the things that I did, the things my dad did, and all that kind of stuff. And then
Dude, in character, some of us don't know these stories.
Yeah, go ahead. Just like bullet point. Let them know the story of Feghrin too, because they don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I think maybe Mason knows some of it, but
You should know, then, in the spirit of these Accords, if I myself ever did not intentionally hide anything from you, you should know the whole thing. My grandmother is Captain Wynne Fairharbor, whether you believe that or not. She married a man after her journeys, what's this? Merrin Morris. They had a son named Divmir, their only child. He was the only Fairharbor of the line. Divmir, he squandered the family's fortunes, but had a slew of children. I have untold brothers and sisters out there, claiming their inheritance, but there's nothing left to take. When I was a child, I was yanked from an orphanage in Malasar, back from my father Divmir, and I looked after him in his old age, as he was poxy and dying from all the experiments he had done. Divmir loved magic and the esoteric. He liked spirits. I learned to hate those things. And I learned about my family's heritage. Divmir died. I had nothing left from him, and I had to work my way up on a ship. And that was where before I was given the command, well, um, I, what did I do? Where is it? Across the years. Did I kill the bird? Is that what I did?
Excuse me?
Yeah, I know. But like, yes, that's what I did. Yeah, the phantom. Like how you don't kill those things. I smashed a votive against the dock post on the day at Grinswater, the day I was going to take a command, and that's when the Revenindar that day sliced up the ship, and I was the only one that survived. Every ship that I joined after that, calamity befell the crew, till no one would take me, except the cheese pirates. Is that what they're?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I'm glad I remember that.
Weren't we just stowaways on there? Weren't they actually?
We were sailors. They were about to throw me off anyway. Not that Calhock is not here, but they were about to throw me off, and well, two of them, Calhock and Serafina, they stayed with me anyway, and they were the only people that had ever done that. And you should know, we got involved in all sorts of things in the southern seas, and we have a lot of enemies. None, I can't name them all. One of them is a dragon. And then finally the Revenindar came for me and the crew. And finally Tygo blessed us and we survived and we slew the beast. And that's when well, I tried to kill myself, Rondah. To be honest with you, I felt like I didn't reach the end of my life. And, well, the captain wasn't too fond of that. And so, the crew was disbanded. And I took to fishing with my friend. Felt my life was over. And then, I look over to like Tulu and Floki and Clearoki, and I'm like, and then this lot appeared. We formed a crew. We've been sailing together ever since.
Pretty good. Right, well, I think Rhonda's probably the first to go, and she signs up again.
Oh, everybody's signing up. I figured that they could just like inform us if they're that is not like modern legal precedent whatsoever, but like I figured they can always just like exit the accords if they don't agree or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
or they could all
that's true,
sign.
they could.
I like that too.
Loki
think
would definitely take the time before he signs it to like kind of meticulously go over it, and he taps the number 9 roll, and he says, malevolence is that I feel like that word's pretty important there. I can certainly keep to that.
My, well, that would be good. And I tap not 9 as well, but I tap it where it says to suffer death.
Yeah. I should probably figure out that book.
You mean my book? Rhonda says.
No, the laughing book.
You have a laughing book?
Yeah. No, I just kind of never dealt with it before. It was kind of. It just felt like there was a lot of downside and not a lot of upside to interrogating that. But, I'm feeling pretty confident. I had a conversation with an undead ship. It's, I'm stronger than
go
I
down.
once was.
Oh, what'd you say, Mason?
I said it can only go downhill from there, right? You've reached your peak and
No, no, no. I feel like it's just. I feel like we're just getting started.
well, Clue does go and he re-signs the accords.
Okay.
Do you all remember? I think I've got a note here. It says we had 16,000 gold total.
It was more than that.
I know that we have more gold than the Spanish Armada.
I thought
Yeah, it is-
16,000 was the first win.
Yeah, that was like that was the first win that you guys had, and then you had the actual when you won the championship, which was even more than that. It's in
Yeah.
the XP handouts, so you can go back and read through them. But that tells you how much. It was something like 49,000 total.
A lot of gold.
We should buy some gosh darn cannons if we can.
Probably can. Hang on a second.
Because we have no way to defend ourselves.
Rondah,
Our enemies
Rondah
are-
and Swipes would both have an idea of where to find some. Hang on a second.
In Necropolis.
No, because that's like the place of the death. So like, no, not talking about that. So both Rondah and Swipes tell you if you're gonna buy cannons, you can either buy them in Villa, which is on Lambu, or you can buy them in Deepstone, which is on Eau Caché.
Is Eau Caché the place that we're tasked to go?
Yes, Eau Caché is the place you are tasked to go. And
Hey,
take
look at that.
Take the barrels to someone named Blando.
What was
Yeah,
the-
Eau Caché. There we go.
That sounds like
There's a name Blando. Town of Deepstone. I got
Deepstone.
notes.
Okay. And then, okay, so it's 19,879. Every officer gets four times share.
Okay, well, hang on. That was the first one. Isn't there also an additional winnings though?
It just has a note here, and it says the grand total of winnings is 19,879.
Oh, okay. Yep, that's right. That's correct. I was thinking about the price of the barrels. That's what I was thinking about.
And remind me, the barrel delivery, are we getting paid for that, or is that just for the pardon?
The documentation you guys have actually says that you bought them.
Yeah, I know. But when we
So-
deliver them, are we expecting payout?
It was very unclear. I would think that Floki would think not. I would think Floki would think that they're not going to get any part of it.
All right, well, sounds like we're going to have to threaten some people. That's all right.
Trying to find my list of officers. I have a bunch listed here in multiple places.
Are you trying to tell everyone who's on deck?
Yeah,
I
we
can tell
need.
you everybody.
So yeah, actually, how
got
many
your-
like total crew?
Your crew numbers a total of 19 now with Rondah being added. So let me go ahead and add Rondah to my thing. Okay, so you have Linzu, Quintrell, Clyde, Aiden, Swipes, Arton, Dorful, Kellum, Lisbon, Tulfin, Susa, Minky, Schroeder, Doros, Tulu, Kloroki, Floki, Feghrin, Rondah.
I
19
don't
total.
mean to cause a stir among the crew, and I hope it wouldn't. But and if it does, we don't have to do this. But especially only having 19 people, to me it was a simple distinction that if you're a player character, you'd be an officer. That was my thought.
Mhm.
I don't know. Does that
Yeah.
make sense, or that kind
I
of makes
think
it all a lot simpler too?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. The only one I would consider giving officer status to would probably be Quintrell as quartermaster and Susa as ship cook.
Okay,
Like those two-
I'll make it 6. And they are officers, so it's kind of unfair. But in really simple game terms, it just makes it much simpler to say, well,
Yeah, because no one else like has a straight position. Like, because Schroeder's like a ship repair guy, but he's not like actually your guys' bosun. Like, I wouldn't consider him like one of those because you also have Dorful, which can also do ship repair, and
Maybe
Aiden, which
doing-
is
In the spirit of making it as complicated as possible, maybe keeping player characters as like a certain rank, like calling them officers and saying that's 4 shares. And then having like specialist NPCs be some other term and that's 2 shares. Or something to that effect. Would make sense.
Whatever you guys want to do, it's your crew, your
Yeah.
PCs, and your money, so you decide.
Just not to disrespect
If you-
Sousa or anything. I really appreciate the cooking,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's like
my- Yeah, well, that was just
I don't know
because
that they need to be sinking gold.
Ross was asking about, well, the thing is like if you give your cook money, he can buy better supplies, and then you can all eat better food. So there's
I
like those
assume
type of
that's
aspects to think about.
well, a portion of the funds that we take in, right, goes to just like company business. And I imagine that's the pool the chef can tap into for foodstuffs.
I mean, if you consider that fair, that's perfectly fine. Also, like how you guys have to think like this is these people's like well-being, like this is how they're going to exist, and they're probably not going to consider being like allied to you guys if you don't give them anything for being there too. So keep track, like because like you guys will have to deal with morale and stuff too. Of like the further you go, the more dangerous stuff you get, the less likely you are to have your crew be loyal to you. Especially whenever you pull like powerful NPCs like Rondah. Now, if Rondah's going to be part of your crew, you also have Doros, which I guess he's technically a player character, so I don't know if I have control of his alignment. But like the more people you acquire, the higher the chances of mutiny, because like once someone starts to disagree with you, and if they have like a chance to exit, then that's the thing is you don't want to like up and have your crew just leave because you made them real mad.
I mean, it's a lot of money. I'm partial to just keeping it simple and just saying we get 4 times share. It sounds like a lot, and it's based on the historical pirate accords. It's twice as much, but it is a game, and I think I don't know, it makes sense to me, and it's. So what I did is I just I took it and I created my math is probably really crappy, but 19,879. If you have 19 total, you subtract 6 from it, you have 13, but a total share of 4 would make 24. So now that makes it 24 and 13 total from 19,879. So let's see. I need to do what's it called? Interpolating, right?
The trick, it's really easy. You just need to calculate shares. You get each regular crew member is 1 share, and then each officer is 4 shares. You add all that together, you get the number of shares, and then it's just straight division.
Yeah, it's 18,879 divided by 19. And then that gives you
19,879 divided by 19, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is 1,046 gold. And then that is each 1 share. So that you're saying you each
We have
get
more than 19
shares.
shares though, because it's 19 crew members, and the officers each get 4 shares.
Okay,
So you got to add
how
those
many
in
total
too.
shares do you need altogether? Then?
That's what I'm saying. So that's why I took 6
1,800,
and turned it into 24.
19,800.
Okay.
Okay, they divide it into 24. That's what you're saying. Okay, so that means
There's
each
24.
share is...
I think 24 is just the officer shares.
Yes.
Okay,
so the
then what's
total
the
shares
share?
would be 37. 37 total
Gotcha.
shares.
All right. You read off a lot of numbers without explaining them, and I was like, man, I haven't lived this long to go back to math class. You got to put words in there.
Each share then is 537 gold, and then you each get 4 times that share. So 4 times 537. That's your share.
Yeah, and we would have to pay out. So 537 times 4. I'm just curious. I can't stand it. I haven't had this much gold before. Oops.
We are obscenely rich.
2,149.
I have had this much gold before.
2,149. Yeah, it gets complicated once you have people.
So we have to pay out and lose, and we essentially lose the rest of the gold, which I think is right because they earned it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's losing. I mean, we're investing in having this crew. Without the crew, this would be a lot harder.
So the remainder of it I've got is 6,981 that we, split into 13 payments of 537 gold. 537 gold, I don't know if we're using the standards of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition like in the DMG and PHP, but that's like insanely rich.
It's
About
That's
it's
like
about
insanely
2
rich.
years of living.
Yeah, it's insanely rich until you consider the prices of the equipment that it takes to run a ship, and like with that amount of money, they still can't afford their own ship. Like the cheapest long ship that could sail would be like 3,000 gold. So it's like they're like it's not like they could actually like make it as their own at that point either. So, you know what I mean? It's like it's a decent amount of money to live on, but it's also it might be the only winnings you guys have for a while too. So
I mean, they could literally go somewhere and just resign and be rich
Yeah.
for like a year. That's
Yep.
pretty damn good. It's like, yeah, never mind. I will say it. I'm a pilot, and they don't pay me enough money to buy a $50 million plane and operate it at,
Yeah.
several $100,000 a month. Like, they pay me enough to operate it and then keep operating it and get by with
Yep.
that. No one gets paid enough to. I don't want to pay them enough to get their own ship. That would be awful. Like,
Yeah.
I'd buy another ship. I'm greedy and like I
That's,
want
that
them to
was
keep
just
working for me.
that was just my that's just my point. Is like it's a decent amount of money, but it's not like you're overpaying.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to
Mhm.
I don't want to pay them into becoming my competitor. I mean, that's jeez.
I love Feghrin, the ruthless
I
businessman.
mean, it's kind of yeah. I mean, come on now. Like, there's a limit.
Yeah, the
All right.
I was about to say words and they just escaped me, just right out of my mind.
All right. You all can take your long rest once you make it aboard, if that's your plan.
Now
Or
that
you
I'm a
guys can
business,
leave.
now that I'm a business owner, all of a sudden I'm anti-labor.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Politics aside, once you get everyone on board, you sign your accords. Whoever chooses not to doesn't. We can leave it vague as far as what Floki decides as of now. Do you guys want to take your long rest in the dock, or do you guys want to sail away, then take your long rest somewhere out at sea?
Might
Well-
be worth starting to get a move on. Because
Okay.
the Federation's coming here, and the further we are away from their destination, the less likely we are to cross their paths.
All right. So let's see here. We'll go ahead and start this. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up early tonight too, because Ross has to
oh
leave
crap!
soon.
Yeah,
So,
I gotta leave
um,
soon.
So what we're gonna do is you guys can. I've done the math here, and you guys can sail 3 hexes a day. So we can leave, and you guys can head 3 hexes in any direction, and we'll call it that, and then we'll have it be rolling anytime you go further than that point. Like 3 hexes a day, and anytime you try to go faster than that in any direction, then that's when we'll have some rollies.
Right. What direction approximately exactly is Eau Caché?
You have your map, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you tell me.
Oh man, do I have a map picture somewhere that I don't know
I
about?
sent you. I sent you one over Discord. It's literally
You
just
might
like
have, but man, we talked a lot, and I guess I didn't put that in my
It's
notes
very
anywhere.
true.
All right, let's see. Scrolling. All right, map. All right, boy, it's man. You know, when I make a navigator, I don't want to. That doesn't mean I'm actually good at navigating. It's
Yeah.
it's southeasterly.
Yep. That's correct. So pick your 3 squares, and we'll 3 hexes, and we'll go that direction. Mason, are you
right.
still there? Okay, I was just making sure.
I'm still alive.
I didn't want you to have no agency in what happened here too.
No,
Yeah.
I'm
Does
just
anyone
keeping
feel
focused.
strongly about the hexes we should choose, or am I navigating?
Yeah.
I feel
I
very,
think you're the
very
navigator.
strongly.
All right, let's do boop boop boop.
That way.
Dar. Yep, that's 3.
And then so same
And
with.
we get
same
swallowed
path-
by a whale.
Nope. Same with
By
red herring.
Revenant.
You guys make it out to there.
Oh, and I do the thing. I do
What's
the
your
thing
thing?
that I wanted to do, but we haven't been sailing in a long time. I sent Key over to the Twilight's Revenge.
All right, you do that.
I can
What was your
communicate.
intent? Oh, okay, cool. So
She's
now you
just
can do
there. Yeah,
the
she's my
thing,
eyes, my ears, my mouth. That's the whole shebang. We can communicate now instantly. I don't have to like have her deliver letters.
yeah. Yeah, cool. I do want to know, is Rondah going to be on Twilight's Revenge or on the Red Herring? I don't think she would have a preference. I think she
Wait,
asked the
I
captain.
got a question about Key.
Yeah.
So we laid all the cards out, right? Like, so I know like who.
Yeah, I think there's like context missing, but you know that like Floki has like a spirit that he's allied with and can see through.
Floki
And like,
has, you know, that Floki's a warlock, has shenanigansy magic, and you've seen him summon spirits to fight. I
Yeah.
think you still haven't seen Key, but it's the kind of thing where he's not hiding her.
yeah.
She's just very sneaky.
Well,
Yeah,
and
and I
so,
think
like-
you've noticed like the presence of something being there in your fight
Yeah.
with the hunters.
It's
So like
it's kind of a
not
question
like,
of how much do you investigate it.
yeah.
is Key your patron?
No.
Okay.
I mean, do you ask that?
Because Feghrin is familiar with warlocks. He's dealt with this before. It's part of why it's in the Accords. So, like, who is your patron?
Do you ask that?
Yes.
Hmm. I just call her my lady. She
Okay. I think you
didn't
brought
really
that
give
up.
me a name,
Mm.
and yeah, I've probably mentioned her once. I know I mentioned her when we did the cards laying out thing back during the trials. I said I've got a patron who gives me magic stuff. I call her my lady. When I was sailing with the Green Blades, I wanted an out, and she kind of just appeared to me and said, "Hey, I can get you out if you'll enter my services." And I did so, and I haven't regretted it at all. She's been perfectly nice in all my interactions with her. No antagonistic relationship exists there. I don't think she's malicious.
And she's never asked you to do anything wrongful, evil, and she's not capricious in any way.
No,
She's actually not asked anything up to this point.
I think we never filled in details, but I think we said that like immediately after he was gotten out of the Green Blades, she asked him to do like some stuff, but it clearly wasn't important enough for it to ever come up. And like for the most part, yeah, it's just like she just hasn't been yanking him around.
Interesting. Okay. Well.
Yet.
Yeah, we covered that when you looked at it and you're like, not not an evil spirit, so good to go. So as long as we're doing that, we're good, I guess. And people are after Kleroki, right?
Yeah, the Green Blades.
The Green Blades. Same people.
The same. Yep, same people.
Okay. And
Green Blades
so
are in every single person's backstory I've discovered.
the Green Blades are after everybody. Great. Okay.
Yep.
And Kleroki, being a paladin, how does he have powers?
Through basically the
Pith.
goddess Pith.
Pith.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You never met Hadrian, did you?
No.
All right.
Adrian was
She's the nature
landlocked, right?
goddess.
Yeah, he was landlocked.
Can you remind me who Pith is?
Pith is the nature goddess.
Nature goddess, tree hugger, don't kill unless you know you have to type.
She's also the huntress, though, so
Yeah.
she is kind of kill.
Yeah, no.
It's like don't kill unless you have to, but if you do, really go for it.
Yeah, go for it good. And I think you've like seen. Never mind. But one thing that happens once you get out of Lucerna is you all finally get signal and your emails start going off.
Yeah, I've been waiting for that.
Basically like 15 different phantoms just and like land on the mast, and a bunch of mail gets dropped off. Most of it's for the NPCs of like letters from people that they knew back in time. Let's see, Floki, you get a letter from Hankerjinky basically asking, is it safe? Is it secret? No, but he asks, is it safe? Thank you for retrieving me. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. Pluroki, you sadly don't get any mail.
Oof.
But I'm sorry.
You brought all your friends with you.
Tulu doesn't either.
Pluroki goes and cries in a corner.
Aw.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
come on.
sorry.
Tulu doesn't get any mail.
Tulu doesn't get
Cast
any
Iron
mail.
doesn't write him a thing. He's got friends.
If you'd like to, you could do that. You can have it wrote up and then
Yeah.
send it to him.
I'd like it if the landlocked party just kind of wrote a group message hey, wherever
How's it
you
going?
ran off to, hope you're okay. Thinking about you, XOXO.
And then Feghrin, you are welcomed by a familiar face with a of blue light and a flash. You see stumble across the deck before you, Calhawk, and you stand there, and he stands up and he goes, "Feghrin, you're alive," and he goes to embrace you.
Calhawk?
Yeah, Calhawk.
I'm sorry, it's real big cognitive dissonance here. So am I addressing Mason or Jake? I don't know what to do.
You're addressing Jake.
Okay.
Yeah. Jake
Because
is playing
Mason
Cowhawk
is
for now.
Kuroki.
Since I'm
Okay.
playing Kuroki.
Man,
Yeah.
this is weird. Calhawk.
I'll mute myself for now.
What happened? You're okay.
It's complicated. Yeah, I'm fine. I think mostly. Yeah. It's complicated. Lots of shenanigans. Do you know what day it is?
Well, yes, it's the 17th of Cloud Scatter.
Okay. Of the what year?
The 73rd of the Green Age.
Okay. Good to know. That means I'm only 14 more away. 14. Okay. He tucks that away. He goes, "Oh, this is from Sarah." He hands you an envelope.
I open the
And
envelope.
it's a letter, and it simply says, "In case you need to spit on any more boots," and then attached to the envelope with some wax is a ring.
What's the ring look like?
It's just like a simple gold band ring. He goes, "I'm glad you're okay." Oh man, it's crazy. I had to come see you. I had to tell you that I'm alive. I'm okay. And actually, I think whatever happened for a good reason. I've actually been working with Madame Lamberna. Do you remember her? Yeah, she's been really great. She's been helping me with gosh dang it, I can't remember his name, but he's okay.
Calhawk,
The other guys are fine.
What happened to Paolo?
Oh, I shouldn't probably tell you. You might get mad. He might be listening right now. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? It is okay. Oh man, he like reaches around. You can tell there's like so much going on, but like he's definitely out of place. You can see there's like he seems very flustered. He opens up this pouch and like scrolls begin to spill out. He picks them up and puts them back away. He's like, I guess this is goodbye for now. I hope that you're okay. Here, and he puts something in your hand, and he says, "Good luck." And he kind of like looks around at the crew that's around you, and he goes, "I hope these guys treat you better than Sarah did." I'm hoping I can see her and Klaus soon.
It's good to know that you're okay.
I gotta go. World's kind of depending on it. But yeah, bye.
Be safe.
And then he like, he like looks over and notices that there's like Tritons on board and just like different, and like he's kind of overwhelmed by the fact that you've got this new crew together. He just waves and he leaves. But what he set in your hand is actually this little cat stone that you recognize as Shiloh.
Oh, wow.
And then you can go ahead and look at your ring if you wanted to look at your ring too.
I look at the ring, And then I go down into that. I'm just gonna call it Captain. I don't know what to call it because it wouldn't just be. It's not a big ship. Whatever the place where we had the meeting, I talked to Quintrell and stuff.
Yeah, just we call it the office. It's the aft room.
Aft room. Yeah. What does the ring look like?
It's just a simple golden band.
Okay. And Feghrin weeps.
Just like absolutely bald.
Just weeps. Just tears. Just just falls down. That's all.
Right. Is there anything else Kuroki wants to do before we end tonight?
He doesn't really know if it's his place to try and comfort Feghrin.
Oh no,
So
no,
he's-
I went in there alone just because.
Oh, okay.
That's
no,
why he went down
sorry,
there.
I missed
No.
that. I thought you were still on the. Okay, my internet's been cutting in and out all night long. So all right. No, he's just kind of sitting by himself. He didn't get any mail. No one misses him, so he's just kind of sitting there.
Gosh.
We appreciate you, Kuroki. You're here from nowhere.
Right. So you should have Shiloh's rules in your thing now. Basically, you have a rock that can turn into a cat.
It was a very
It'll
useful
turn
cat.
into a cat?
Yep, it turns into a cat.
That's great. Every ship needs a good ratter.
That's what Calhawk thought. That's why he found it.
Oh, and you can telepathically communicate with it.
Yep, anywhere.
Because it's on the same plane of existence.
It's all right. Some of us had to really sacrifice to get that kind of power, you know. You just got
But
a
his
rock.
is just a cat. His is just a cat. It's not a sentient being with
Cats are
actual
sentient beings.
Also, it
it's
can only
not-
be used for, what was it, 2d12 hours, and then is on cooldown
charges
for
for
1d12 days.
Yeah, it's not so great. But
All
it's
right,
something.
all right. I'll be less jealous. But if it eats Key, I'm throwing it off the ship.
Keep Key
I
out
don't
of his
think
reach then.
I don't think it can catch Key, and Key can turn invisible, and it doesn't have blind sight or anything. for true
Actually,
sight,
it does.
Oh, it does?
No,
Oh
no.
man, I don't know.
The
I don't know.
games begin.
I don't know how cats work. Then if it does, that's crazy. Like dark vision, I can see, but
I don't know, since I don't have access to Calhawk's old notes anymore. I don't know if
what it does.
what it does. Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
Cats have whiskers, and whiskers do all kinds of shenanigans, right? I don't know how
I can
cats
make
work.
Ross, would you rather me just leave this for you, or just show everybody what it does?
You could show everybody. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to add it to other ones. Yeah, we'll just put it back in your thing. Put it also in Tulu's thing. Put it also in Floki's thing. That way, everyone can look at it at their leisure. I imagine that Feghrin would maybe play with it. I don't know how it works.
Shallows.
Chalice rules.
Cat. It does not have, invisible vision or whatever that was called.
Invisible vision. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy playing tonight. That will conclude our session. We'll be playing again next week. Then we'll retroactively see the game between Tulu and Chisel. Hopefully, if Brian's back by then. And then we will continue our adventure onward.